Hey groovy people. This is, I think, number 9 of 10 of This Is How We Do It. And this week is the string theory. And no, I'm not going to necessarily talk about physics, but if you're familiar with the string theory at all, you'd know that it basically talks about how atoms and within atoms, blah, 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 breaks things down smaller than atoms and makes it so that everything moves and affects everything else. So basically nothing is permanent. Yeah. So I guess that's how I feel about life. Nothing is permanent. And we're ever-changing in the moment. Justin, and the reason I brought string theory into it is, if you don't know Justin, he takes strings, and throughout his life he has evolved his string theory. Each different thing, different piece of string, he takes and he frays it at the end, and he works it with scissors, and he makes it a certain length, and he makes it a certain, for instance, certain ropes, he'll take the middle out of like a climbing rope, and he'll fray the bottom so that all the strings that are woven into it make this beautiful whippy bottom. And he used to do it with curling ribbon, and he'd like do it with his mouth and make it so that it came to exactly the right point, so that when he twirled it, it made this beautiful wispy thing. And he always does it over like books and artwork and anything. Like he'll do a piece of artwork where he layers a bunch of things, and then he'll twirl the string over it, and it has to be just the right way. He's constantly tweaking it to make sure it's just right. So just like I feel like the last few weeks I've been constantly tweaking the new staff that I have and the system that I work with my son with, because now I'm training others, a lot of others, and I'm seeing where things are just really awesome, that really work, and some things that, need tweaking, including, technique of their own. And now next week I'm going to leave the staff and the kid's dad with them, and I'm going to do the Sunrise program. So I'm pretty excited. I get to meet people from, I guess, Buenos Aires and Africa, from Ghana. I'm just so excited. And so I'll be in Great Barrington at the Sunrise program. I don't know if you've heard of it before, but I'll be learning from the Kaufmans, who their son Ron was diagnosed with autism, and you should go online and check it out. I have their website on Groovy Sites, which is one of the windows on my website. So groovypeople.weebly.com. So get on there and check it out, and just know that the string theory is that we're all connected. There's connections to everything, and everything in Justin's system connects as well. Like if we do a letter, if we happen to do a word, it goes into the whole day, the whole week, and then it becomes morphed into his soul, into his brain, and into his vocabulary. So we start out with small, like a rough looking string that doesn't look like it's very twirlable, and then we cut it and play with it and make it, and then by the end, and by the end, and when it's at its peak, then it is twirling in this lovely way. The funny thing about this is that Justin I've always said he's a physicist, because from when he was little he used to throw things in the air and jump at the same time, and people would be like, he's being unruly, and I'm like, no, he's testing physics. He's a physicist, and he would run from one end of the room to the other, and he would constantly assess the room dimensions and everything in the room. And so he's still doing that today, and I think the string is part of that. So what he does, though, is he's kind of done with things. When he's done and he's perfected it, Brownie used to do that too. When she was little, she'd do all these jigsaw puzzles, and she'd turn them over, and she'd do them at I don't know, 16 months, and then she'd never want to do the puzzle again. So it's funny how that in the moment they don't really, in their raw self and in our human self, we don't hang on to all these moments. We don't hang on to things. We just keep moving through life and stay in the moment. And Justin takes his string at the very end and he retires it. When we were in Washington, he retired it in lots of bodies of water. He'd get a new one and then he'd work with it for a while and then it would suddenly be thrown into the water. Now he has discovered how to throw it out my front window. So we're going to have to secure that window because I don't want Justin to throw himself out. But anyway, he flushes it down the toilet sometimes. That's a pretty common one. I tried to put him down my drain before. He clogged up the drain. Anyway, it's amazing how at their core my kids are living life in the way that most spiritual teachings teach us, to be in the moment, be loving and kind, and be connected with others at this deeper level. So it is what it is. Happy String Theory Day, and I hope you have the most beautiful week, and I can't wait to tell you about sunrise next Friday. Peace and love.